Let's speak to Tom O'Connor, a senior foreign policy writer at Newsweek. Tom, good to see you. Do you think when Russia invaded all those months ago in February that it thought it would still be trying to defeat Ukraine 6 months later?
I'm not sure many people thought that, to be honest with you. I recall the earliest days of the operation and speaking with U.S. intelligence officials, speaking with a range of people who have access to the sort of reports and analysis that drive U.S. foreign policy. And there was quite a grim outlook at that time. And I'm sure Russia shared that same outlook, perhaps even more so. I think that Ukraine right now, 6 months later, is certainly a lot to be proud of. It's demonstrating ability to defend itself. I think there was a lot of underestimation, not just of Ukraine's own capabilities, but also the level of U.S. and NATO support that had gone to Ukraine over those years. Ukraine was clearly prepared for this sort of conflict. Now, that being said, I think that Ukraine, of course, is still in a very precarious position. We've not seen either power, either belligerent to this conflict really back down in any way. And so it's still a recipe for a disaster right now. And I'm not sure that either side has really shown they can win strictly through military means.
Does the length of the conflict pose a problem in terms of continued support from Western countries, all of which have deep economic problems? I mean, how long can they continue to pour aid into Kyiv?
Well, this is certainly, I think, one of the largest, if not the largest, risk that Ukraine faces in the long term, is that certainly Ukraine right now is extremely dependent on foreign support, unlike Russia is. Russia still is demonstrating a capacity to be able to sustain its war effort, although, of course, it is facing its own issues. Ukraine is still reliant very much on that outside support, and that support is only as strong as the political will in the Western capitals, including the United States, of course. And as elections come, as various fatigue comes, perhaps, with this war and where it's going and what Ukraine wants out of it, I think that that's certainly something Ukraine has to take into account. I'm sure it is a part of their calculus right now. So far, they've demonstrated a very successful lobbying effort in keeping that support coming, but it's certainly not something that's a guarantee in the future, and that could certainly help drive this war in either direction, depending on if that support keeps coming or not. If not, then it is very grim, I think, for Ukraine.
And how long is Russia prepared to carry on with this offensive? Because, of course, sanctions are having a massive impact on its country. It's also suffering in terms of the number of combat deaths. It says its special operation is going well, but is it really prepared to just carry on indefinitely?
Well, with Russia on its side, it seems to be that this is really obviously a product of President Putin's. He's really in the driver's seat, I should say, when it comes to this conflict. And there's not really a large group of decision makers involved. So it really is up to President Putin himself how long he wants to carry this out. When I speak to Russian officials, they signal to me that there's no possibility for backing down right now, not just because of the fact that they believe that the war is justified in this sense, but also because of the optics of backing down. They feel that this is something that will have to be carried through. As to how that conflict ends, we've not really seen a clear picture from either side over really what the terms of even a ceasefire would look like at this point. You know, we've heard President Putin say that he's not ready for talks right now. We've heard President Zelensky say that that victory now to them doesn't look like peace. It looks like a win, including in Crimea. So there has certainly been somewhat of a maximalization on both sides of what they're looking to get out of this conflict. So I think it's still a very dangerous situation for both parties and for the region, honestly, because this conflicts like this, of course, have a potential to spill over, and they are, and of course, drag in the major powers involved in it. So as to how long Russia is willing to go on with this, indefinitely, it seems so far.
Tom, great to speak with you. Thank you, Tom O'Connor there.